In 2010, the United States Department of Education awarded Florida International University with a Title V grant and created Project Gateways, a multifaceted project designed to enhance the core competencies of students through a variety of interventions, including curriculum enhancements, faculty development, and peer tutoring. This intervention, known as high-tech, high-touch, increases the availability of information technology resources such as various forms of multimedia and social networking for instructional use. High-tech, high-touch also consistently increases the availability of resources to personally connect with students through curricular and co-curricular means. Project Gateways consist of 7 activities: improving success in college algebra, improving the teaching of composition to Generation 1.5 and English as a second language students, training faculty in cultural sensitivity, improving students' reading skills, improving student performance through enhanced tutoring services, using an early alert system with first semester students, increasing the number of English and mathematics education majors. FIU and the U.S. Department of Education's ultimate goal is to increase student retention and graduation rates at Hispanic Serving Institutions by enhancing our students' reading, writing, and math skills. Using faculty development, peer tutoring, and a computer-based mastery program, Project Gateways enables students to work at their own pace using a self-directed learning module. This module guides students to help them understand various math concepts. Faculty-trained learning assistants are present at the lab to provide further assistance to students. With this mastery program, instructors can closely monitor student progress and course success.
So the math lab is required for college algebra students and intermediate college algebra students. These students are required to take 1 hour in-class lecture and then 3 hours in the lab. So the lab is basically done is an area where these students come and get help on their homework and to take quizzes and their exams. Now, the idea is that they would do their homework and they will be able to talk with an LA if they have questions, and then the LA will be able to not just give them the answers, but help them get to understanding concepts to get to the answers.
Prior to taking Math 5, I didn't take math for a good 3 years. So when I had to take it again, I was super scared because I didn't know. I was like, oh man, I'm going to do bad because I haven't took math in a while. No, the fact that FIU gave me this program and my lab, it really helped me out and really structured the way I had to think when I see math problems. The biggest problem with math students is when they see a math problem, they don't know how to start it. You know, they're like, oh my God, how do I start this? But with Math Lab, it organized my thoughts to say, okay, I have to do this step first, this step, and then the next step. At first it was hard because you have to type it a certain way to get the right answer. But as you get used to, I used to get used to working with the system, it will tell you how to help me solve this, you know, and it'll give you a different problem of the similar structure. So it's, to me, that the whole system is very helpful, you know. It's actually, the LAs in the computer, but yet there's still LAs there to help you out.
Implementation of a faculty development program to improve student writing and composition gateway courses will help Hispanic students succeed by addressing the linguistic interferences second language writers have. In practical terms, this meant providing our instructors with multiple opportunities to learn the best practices for writing instruction of second language writers, both through face-to-face and online workshops.
Exposure to the Title V Gateways project has added depth to my teaching. Referring to depth not only as a layering of meaning, but as an architectural layering of resources. I've explored a lot of the concepts and materials in that Title V initiative website for the department, and I've applied those strategies to my own classroom. Simple things like simplifying the wording of my assignment sheets, getting the jargon out and getting the meaning in, meeting one-on-one with students, and more importantly, just understanding where they're coming from. We're understanding the needs of my ELLs and my international students, and understanding the tendency for error and mistake in their work. To more global concerns in grading and in teaching, then that helps them, because the feedback that I'm giving the individual students is more geared towards an understanding of their ideas versus the minutia of grammar and usage and syntax. Important topics, but something that takes second place, definitely.
With only 16% of our faculty identifying themselves as Hispanic, Project Gateways includes training for culturally aware approaches to teaching Hispanic students and non-native English-speaking students. Consequently, training faculty in cultural sensitivity aims to promote inclusive teaching practices among FIU faculty.
And in my teaching, I get involved in a lot of science education research. So initially, a lot of my research was focusing on how to improve teaching, how to deliver content better. But the more I taught, the more I realized that the issues that were affecting students' performance, at least for my classes, had more to do with psychology, culture, and mentality. And so this sort of gets back to, even simple things like, how my students grew up, what kind of pressures they face to choose careers, and how those career choices influence their attitude to the subject matter that I was teaching. So I tried to take a few steps back to kind of look at this question scientifically, like why are these pressures so overbearing that it affect classroom performance? And I came upon a book group that the Center for the Advancement of Teaching was having. So since then, I've implemented a number of programs to try to reduce stereotype threat. And actually now I'm leading a book group, the same book group, but new year, teaching faculty, sort of getting them aware of what stereotype threat is and how to come up with interventions to reduce it. I think FIU is in a very unique position. It's the nation's largest Hispanic Serving Institution. And as a result of that, the university can't simply approach education from a content perspective. And it's very good that administratively that's being recognized. So it's not just a matter of getting students to get grades and get good careers, etc., but it's getting them to be developed into citizens. And part of that is getting them to reflect on issues of society, and that's issues of identity, issues of race, issues of cultural sensitivity. Even if it doesn't affect them personally, it affects their community.
Generation 1.5 and English as a second language students often have difficulties with higher level reading skills. Project Gateways includes a reading program in certain writing courses to enhance student skills. Classes that rely heavily on individual reading have the potential to give students some anxiety. Therefore, Project Gateways has introduced Reading Plus, a web-based program designed to improve students' silent reading fluency and comprehension in numerous reading-intensive courses.
One of the biggest things a student coming from high school into college, one of the biggest transitions that they'll face is knowing how to study and how much reading is actually required for them to study properly. A lot of the students will create massive 3-hour study sessions where they're reading nonstop, and this can get discouraging to a student, especially if it isn't done properly or if it isn't very effective for them. So what Reading Plus does is it gives the student a bunch of tools to come into the reading process and comprehend more, understand different types of vocabulary words. So when they go back in and they're trying to create these study routines, they're more effective. They understand what's going on, and they're more enjoyable.
And a lot of the students come back after they pass their exams and they just let us know how much Reading Plus has helped them and how much the tutors have helped them just to build those skills as well. And I feel like they really appreciate the help that we give them, and they really take advantage of those resources and apply them towards their classes. And they do better. They do better in their courses.
Activity 5 is designed to enhance tutoring services with a more comprehensive academic support structure that uses online and face-to-face peer tutoring. The activity deploys writing fellows in the humanities to help students with their writing and increases the availability of tutoring services by offering online tutors in math and writing.
2 semesters ago, I was enrolled in a writing intensive course where writing fellows were attached to the course, and we were dealing with a lot of high conceptual ideas. And when I met with my fellow, she explained to me the ways my paper was good, but the ways that I could make it better. And the experience really just showed me the benefits of revision. I was always that student who one draft and that was it. And now I try to take the time to revise because I realized that in that revision is where I can better communicate to the audience I'm trying to.
The students have been really, really receptive of writing fellows at large. especially with our ability to understand them as students, and also not require so much of them as writers. Instead, we try to help nurture that skill. Especially with my students, I felt that they were appreciative of what I had to say. You know, I would compliment and I would suggest, and I would compliment and suggest. And they found that that was something fairly new. They didn't get a chance to experience this with their professors because more often than not it was, you know, this is wrong, you've got to change this, and this doesn't belong here. But instead what we try to do is help you understand that you can create your own authority as a writer as long as you feel comfortable doing that, as long as you could, you know, sort of validate your writing.
The Early Alert system monitors first-year students' progress in gateway courses taken during their first semester and designates appropriate resources and staff when possible academic barriers are identified. This activity has led to the development of an online reporting tool utilized by the instructors of mathematics, English composition, and the university's first-year experience seminar to alert academic advisors when students are experiencing difficulty in the courses. Advisors can then intervene and provide assistance to these students in getting the help they need to successfully complete those 2 very important semesters of their college career.
I would have to wait in order to reach out to a student. I'd have to wait to see, okay, well, you failed a quiz, or I'd have to wait for them to come in and let me know I'm having trouble, or I'm struggling with my math course, or I'm not connecting with my English material the way I should. Now, if a professor reaches out to me in that 2nd or 3rd week, I have enough time to ask a student, how's everything going? Let's plan out the rest of your semester to make sure that you're not going to fail this class. And if the time comes that we need to drop it, it's still early enough where we can drop the course and avoid a negative impact on the student's GPA.
The peer tutoring programs in Project Gateways will provide the hands-on training as well as increase the number of majors in secondary English and math teacher education programs to meet critical teaching needs. Recruitment efforts include increasing awareness of these discipline-specific degrees, reaching out to students with high-interest assessment scores for education and training, as well as introducing students already engaged in the peer tutoring programs across the university.
Now that I'm approaching the end of the program and about to start my internship, I look back and I'm glad and grateful for the help and guidance of my teachers and advisors. I feel excited about finally finishing my courses and starting the student teaching internship in the spring. I feel prepared to start work in the real world, like they say, and to begin to see what it is like to be a teacher of English. For example, the program has provided me with relevant coursework and classes that has exposed me to the educational system through field experience. The experience has taught me a lot about how to talk to students, how to revise and comment on their work, much in the way a teacher would, and guide them and help them to learn, all of which are components of being a good English teacher. Ultimately, I have benefited greatly from my experiences as an English education major. I am proud to tell others about my major and about the work that I do.
Through our high-tech, high-touch approach, FIU and Project Gateways, with the help of the U.S. Department of Education, are consistently increasing the availability of resources to personally connect with students and improve passing and retention rates university-wide. Project Gateways strives to live up to FIU's Worlds Ahead approach by using the latest in technology and teaching techniques to help these students achieve great success in college and beyond.